Hello best learners, this is Mustafa here at LearnWithTheBest, and today we're going to be discussing Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Law number 42, strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. In this video, I'm going to define the law for you, and then we're going to look at a crazy scene from the Super Mario Brothers. And finally, we'll end with a story from ancient Athens, where this law was used flawlessly. Here's the law. Trouble can often be traced to a single, strong individual. The stirrer, the arrogant underling, the poisoner of goodwill. If you allow such people room to operate, others will succumb to their influence. Do not wait for the troubles they cause to multiply. Do not try to negotiate with them. They are irredeemable. Neutralize their influence by isolating or banishing them. Strike at the source of the trouble, and the sheep will scatter. Once upon a time, there were two plumbers with hearts of gold named Mario and Luigi, and they go out to save Princess Peach from the tyrannical Bowser. Whether or not Princess Peach wants to be kidnapped is a topic for another video, but for now we're focusing on Bowser and his influence over the Mushroom Kingdom. You see, the innocent citizens of this land, you know, the Goombas, the Troopas, the Piranha Plants, the Boos, and the Bullet Bills. These are all just regular, blue-collar, law-abiding citizens who go to work, pack their lunches, and pay their taxes to the princess on time. But then, on one particular day, a charismatic turtle comes along, and he offers an alternative. If he's able to kidnap the princess and take over the kingdom, then the people do not have to pay their taxes anymore. All they have to do is stand in the way of Mario and Luigi. Of course, this doesn't work, because the brotherly plumbers by day and tax collectors by night are determined to stomp on every Goomba and collect every unpaid coin on their path to saving Princess Peach. And after these plumbers go on a rampage of their own, kidnapping all of the baby dinosaurs from their cribs, then forcing said dinosaurs into eating almost everything the Mushroom Kingdom has to offer, and freezing or burning every paratroopa with absolutely no mercy, they finally reach Bowser, put an end to him, and return Princess Peach to her boring, uneventful life in the castle, just so she can dream of being kidnapped again next year. How much easier would it be though if Mario and Luigi just went straight to Bowser's castle without extinguishing the lives of so many tens of thousands of innocent underlings along the way? See, Bowser is the shepherd in this scenario, while all of the tens of thousands of his underlings are the sheep. In this law, Robert Greene is asking us to go straight for the big green turtle, because he's the charismatic leader that's able to gain such an incredible influence over the sheep of the Mushroom Kingdom. Even Princess Peach is falling for this guy. I mean, come on. If Mario strikes Bowser and that's the very first thing that he does, then he doesn't have to worry about stomping on every little Goomba that comes his way. Because without Bowser, the Goombas have nothing to fight for. The Goombas will just go back to hitting the snooze button 3 times before getting up for work, and the Mushroom Kingdom can go back to being a flourishing, beautiful little kingdom again. And this is the essence of the law. Now let's look at an example from ancient Athens, where this law was brilliantly observed. But before we do that, I need your help with YouTube's algorithm. Please simply engage with this video. Things like smashing the thumbs up button, of course smash it only if you like the content, subscribing, commenting, and sharing the video with your friends on your social networks. All these sorts of engagements really truly do help me out a lot. And if you want to transform yourself from a lamb to a lion, then check out my course pinned in the top comments below. I will teach you the tools that you need for success, but you have to actually step up and put in the work on yourself. This course is not for everyone, because the majority of the population are sheep. But for those very few of us who do want to walk the path of a lion, this is the course for you. Okay, so once upon a time, near the end of the 6th century BC, the citizens of Athens were tired of one tyrannical leader after another. So they got together and overthrew the tyrants, and they set up a new democracy of their own. And as this newfound democracy grew, it had to face a new problem. How would Athens deal with those in power who were only concerned with their own ambition and lust for power? The city came up with a brilliant idea, and it was this. One day, every single year, every citizen would vote, writing down the name of one person that they disliked the most, and the person with the most votes would be thrown out of Athens for a 10-year-long exile. This idea killed two birds with one stone. First, it got rid of one person who the people believed was gaining power for all the wrong reasons. Maybe they were too selfish, not caring for the people and only worried about gaining political status. Or maybe the person was already in a high position and started becoming comfortable and lazy. And secondly, this idea would strike fear into the hearts of all those who were in power, because this would keep them in check. Stray too much from the path of good, and you have the chance of being exiled. The ancient Athenians recognized the dangers posed by asocial behavior, the holier-than-thou attitude that silently seeks to impose its standards onto others, the overwhelming ambition at the expense of the common good, the flaunting of superiority, the quiet scheming, the terminal obnoxiousness. So, with this new system, all of these brooding emotions in the hearts of men were squashed before they could grow into overbearing monsters. The Athenians didn't try to re-educate people who acted in these ways. They didn't want to absorb them into their society, and they didn't want to impose violent punishments that would snowball into other problems. The solution was quick, simple, and effective. Get rid of one of them and let everyone else in power keep themselves in check. Remember, dear viewer, that within any group of people, if there is trouble, it can often be traced down to a single source. This is the unhappy, chronically dissatisfied person who will always stir up drama and infect the entire group. It is said that whenever a new leader comes in to manage a group of people, the very culture of the group is not going to change. This is why when your boss leaves your company and a new boss comes in, the group of employees that are under management, their attitude and their feelings toward the place of work are not going to change. If the new boss hopes to succeed, he will need to try to get rid of the old infectious sheep as soon as possible and replace them with new sheep, or, bring in his own sheep if he wants to create a better culture for the workplace, sheep that are just loyal to him. I have given you guys my example time and again about the place that I used to work at, and when I was promoted to manager as a young man in my early 30s, how that affected the group dynamic. Two of the older women in their 60s who had over 30 years of experience in the industry just would not accept me as their leader. I had to get rid of both of them. One was fired and the other quit. And if you're interested in that story, then please check out my video for law number 7 here. I'm going to link it in the top right hand corner of this video. So in closing, keep a conscious eye out in every group that you are a part of. There will always be that one person who is unhappy, who tries to create drama, who tries to gain power in mischievous ways. Recognize that person as the shepherd of ill will that infects the rest of the sheep. If you like my YouTube content and you want to support me in creating more content, then please check out my Patreon link pinned in the top comment below. I upload new videos every Friday for my Patreon subscribers that go deeper into my life regarding the 48 laws. These videos are a bit more raw and untamed than my usual videos here on YouTube. And if you're a patron of mine already, then I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because it's people like you that truly make all of this even possible in the first place. I hope you enjoyed this animated video on Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, law number 42. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. And remember, you only retain about 10% of what you learned the first time around. So watch this video through a few times and then come back to it again and again in order to really understand and ingrain all of the material into your mind. Thanks, and I'll see you next time for Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, law number 43.
Hey sweetheart, can you tell me how this sounds?
Oh, ha 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 ha.
That sounds cute.
Moo ha 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 ha.